Edmund and Nora grew up surrounded by the constant movement and noise of Queens, New York, a place where life never slowed down and everyone had a story to tell. For Nora Lin, this environment shaped her personality from an early age. She was raised by her father and her grandmother, alongside her cousin Edmund, in a small apartment filled with love, arguments, laughter, and strong opinions. Their home was not fancy, but it was full of character, much like the neighborhood itself. Nora learned early on how to observe people, imitate them, and turn everyday situations into moments of humor. Comedy, even before she knew what to call it, was already part of her life. Edmund was different from Nora in many ways. He was careful, thoughtful, and often worried about the future. While Nora moved through life with instinct and confidence, Edmund preferred structure and plans. Yet, despite these differences, the two cousins shared a deep bond. They understood each other in a way no one else did. Growing up together meant sharing struggles, dreams, and the pressure of expectations from family members who wanted them to succeed in a practical and respectable way. As Nora entered young adulthood, she found herself feeling lost. She tried different jobs, moved from one idea to another, and struggled to find a clear direction. Her father worried about her future but trusted that she would eventually find her way. Her grandmother, never shy with her opinions, constantly reminded Nora that life was not a joke, even if Nora treated it like one. Still, Nora leaned on her family for support, knowing they were her foundation even when they doubted her choices. Edmund, on the other hand, was trying to follow a more traditional path, but something inside him felt incomplete. He admired Nora's fearlessness and creativity, even if it sometimes embarrassed him. One day, almost without fully thinking it through, Edmund suggested they try improv comedy together. The idea sounded risky and uncertain, but it also felt exciting. For Nora, it was a natural fit. For Edmund, it was a challenge that pushed him far outside his comfort zone. Their first steps into the world of improv were awkward and intimidating. The small comedy spaces, filled with strangers and bright lights, made Edmund nervous. Nora, however, felt alive on stage. She transformed ordinary situations into funny, unexpected moments, drawing laughter from the audience without trying too hard. Slowly, Edmund began to loosen up. With Nora beside him, he learned to trust the moment and let go of his fear of making mistakes. Together, they developed a unique chemistry that made their performances stand out. As their confidence grew, so did their reputation. People began to notice the cousins from Queens who brought raw honesty and cultural humor to the stage. Their comedy was not polished or perfect, but it was real. They talked about family, identity, and the struggles of growing up in a city that never stops judging you. Audiences related to them, laughed with them, and saw pieces of their own lives reflected in the performances. Despite their growing success, life at home remained the same. Family dinners were still filled with debates about money, careers, and responsibility. Nora's grandmother continued to question whether comedy could ever be a real job. Her father worried quietly but showed up to every performance. Edmund struggled to balance his desire to make his family proud with his passion for comedy. These pressures tested their resolve, but they also gave their comedy depth and truth. There were moments of doubt, especially when performances did not go well or opportunities fell through. Nora questioned whether she was wasting time chasing a dream that might never fully come true. Edmund feared that one wrong step could undo everything he had worked for. In those moments, they turned to each other, reminding themselves why they started. Comedy was not just about fame or success, it was about expressing who they were and where they came from. As they continued navigating young adulthood, Queens remained a constant presence in their lives. The streets, the people, the sounds, and the culture shaped their voices and perspectives. Nora learned that leaning on her family did not mean giving up her independence. Edmund learned that taking risks did not mean abandoning responsibility. Together, they discovered that success did not have to follow a single path. Their journey was not a straight line, but a series of small steps, mistakes, and moments of courage. Through improv comedy, Edmund and Nora found a way to understand themselves and each other better. They learned to say yes to uncertainty, to trust their instincts, and to embrace the chaos of life in Queens. In doing so, they became more than just performers. They became symbols of what it means to grow up, stay true to your roots, and find laughter even when the future feels unclear. In the end, Edmund and Nora were not just the newest stars of improv comedy. They were two cousins learning how to navigate adulthood with humor, family, and heart, proving that sometimes the most meaningful journeys begin exactly where you are.